And it is truly an honor to be able to introduce Eric Alva.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, I just flew in from Texas, and this isn't Texas anymore. So, just to follow up with Mike's story, my name is Eric Alva, formerly Staff Sergeant Eric Alva, recently being discharged in 2004 medically from the United States Marine Corps after 13 years. And let me share a little story with you that has sort of a distinction to it. I actually was deployed to the Middle East in the beginning of January of 2003, landing in Kuwait on January 15th for what possibly would be the start of the invasion into Iraq as we see history as it is now. On March 21st, 2003, on a logistical convoy with 1st Marine Division, the first day ground operations entered the country of Iraq. I had stepped on a landmine near my vehicle, subsequently suffering severe injuries from breaking my right arm with severe nerve damage, breaking my left leg, and severely damaging my right leg that doctors were unable to save it and it had to be amputated. I had only been in Iraq for 3 hours, giving me the dubious distinction of becoming the first American injured in the Iraq War and also becoming its first Purple Heart recipient. But it wasn't until 4 years later, in 2007, when I traveled to Washington, D.C., and on February 28th, as I sat alongside Congressman Martin Meehan and Congressman Christopher Shays as they introduced the Military Readiness Enhancement Act, a bill designed to repeal, which I believe is the discriminatory law of don't ask, don't tell. The only law that is passed by Congress in this country, of all this country's years of independence, that literally forces people like myself, as I did, and other people like Mike, who went to work every day and had to lie about who they are, or they could possibly be fired or possibly even imprisoned. That is the law of this country that still exists today. As I sat there along these two congressmen, I remember one Associated Press reporter asking me, "Why now, Eric? Why 4 years later, as the first American, would you speak up?" I said, I was a gay American fighting for the rights and freedoms of this country, not just for the selected few. That meant for every single individual, regardless of race, culture, ethnicity, orientation, identity, disabled, physical. It didn't matter. Every single person in this country has the right to be who they are, love who they want, live where they want, and especially work where they want. A couple of years later, after 2007, or the following year, I traveled again to Washington, D.C. on July 24, 2008. And that is where we held our first congressional hearing on the House side on the Armed Services Committee, Subcommittee of Military Personnel. And it was there that I sat with two proponents who were willing to keep Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And you heard such disturbing news from people who stated that if we repeal this law, then, gay people will bring AIDS to the military. If you repeal this law, gay people will be sexually harassing or assaulting other people. The ludicrous and unbelievable remarks that people have to what people in the military do as far as our jobs is unbelievable to say such horrific and just unbearable remarks. I'm a man who has fought for this country, a man who has shed blood for this country, a man who knows that for any political figure from the president on down, the only reason that the people who get to oppose us is because of the freedom I gave them as well. And for that opinion, no one can deny the fact that we are a country of beautiful men and women, patriotic men and women. And it is time for us to get rid of this discriminatory law and practice what we preach when we say with liberty and justice for all. Every person in this country deserves to be who they are. And I know I am one. And I know I am one who no one will take away my freedom. Because I have earned it, and I have earned it for all of you. And I have earned it for people like Mike. And when this law does end, and he goes back into the military, I will be there to support all the patriotic men and women, regardless of their orientation, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of who they are. It's about the people who want to defend this country. and who are willing to give their lives for it as well, like I almost did. I have the distinct pleasure of meeting a young lady who is so patriotic that her even telling me today that she wants to join the military. And I am looking forward that maybe when the time comes that I can see her have that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce a young lady by the name of Loan Tran, someone who is patriotic, someone who is amazing, and someone who will have that opportunity given to her when the right time comes. Lo?
Hello, it's great to be here today. I'm just a regular high school student. I do what I need to do in order to succeed and get by. And I always carry around a pocket full of dreams. A dream that I established when I was 12 was that I either wanted to join the Marines or the Army National Guard. Being so young, I didn't know that there was such a nasty, disgusting, ignorant, and unnecessary policy widely known as don't ask, don't tell. I was heartbroken because my future plans were jeopardized, and I was heartbroken for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered identifying persons serving for our freedom didn't have personal freedom of their own. It's hard. I feel like ultimately it is our duty to fight for the people who have been fighting for such a long time. And for those politicians who believe that letting people serve openly in the military would affect the unit's unity, should be placed in their position, should be geared up and put overseas, and should experience the pressure that they have to go through to protect the nation's title and freedom. And so I believe that we just have to keep fighting and we have to keep loving. Thank you.